Hello everyone and welcome to the next major tutorial here on the DuctTapeStuff channel. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a duct tape mouse pad, so we got a pretty cool tutorial lined up for you today. If you guys have been working with duct tape for a while, you probably figured out that making a duct tape mouse pad isn't quite enough for a major tutorial, just because all you would have to do is make a square sheet of tape by overlapping strips and then you would pretty much have your working mouse pad. But I'm actually going to show you how to throw a few extra features into it to not only make it look cooler but also make it function a lot better, and you can really use it as a really cool mouse pad. So let's get started here on this major tutorial on making a duct tape mouse pad. Here we go. Okay, so for this tutorial I'm actually going to use the mouse pad that I've been using at my computer station for a long time now. I'm going to use the measurements for that. You can pretty much use a mouse pad that you have at home for your template, because basically, you know, if it works on your station now, the size works, then you're obviously going to be making one out of duct tape that's the same size and it should work as well. Everyone's workstation is a little bit different, so obviously, you know, you want to do a little measuring if you need to, just to make sure that it'll fit in your workstation before you make your duct tape mouse pad. So my mouse pad here is 7.5 inches high and 8.5 inches wide. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a whole bunch of strips that are 8.5 inches long and then apply them so that it makes a sheet that is 7.5 inches high. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to get started on that step. Okay, so for my first step I cut out a whole bunch of strips that are 8.5 inches long, and if you've seen some of my previous videos, you know pretty much what happens next. We're just going to start sticking these strips together to form a sheet. Decided to go with electric blue today. I don't think it isn't a color that I have used fairly recently, so I decided to go with that color today. Originally, back in the day, I was hoarding all my electric blue because my Walmart stopped stocking it, and I thought that was the end of it, but it turns out it popped up at like Joann's Fabrics and Michael's Arts and Crafts stores and places like that, so decided I could probably use it, start using it again. So we're just taking our strips, sticking them together just like this, and obviously 4 strips isn't enough to make your entire sheet, so I'm just going to give you guys an idea of how it works, and you guys can fill in the rest of the sheets yourself, the strips. So now we have, let's see, about sheets that are it's roughly about 4 inches, so we're going to have to go to about double that. So cut out a whole bunch of extra sheets and go to the desired height of your mouse pad. For me it's 7.5 inches, but it might be a little bit different for you, so just keep on cutting out those strips and applying them until you get your desired square for your mouse pad. So do that step now. Okay, so after I've applied all those strips, I now have my duct tape sheet here that can serve as my mouse pad. Now you could actually just take this and use it as your mouse pad right now, but I'm actually going to teach you to go a little bit farther with this if you want to. Now you'll notice when you make your sheet here is that obviously it has these ridges on it from where the bottoms of the strips end, because obviously this isn't one giant piece, it's a whole bunch of strips stuck together. Now if you take your mouse here, and I'm not sure if this is just a laser mouse, it doesn't even have one of those roller balls or anything, but you'll notice the bottoms of the mouse, like the little markings and stuff like that, they tend to get caught a little bit on those little ridges that the strips create, and that can get kind of annoying after a while. So it doesn't bother some people obviously, but to me it kind of, when I'm trying to move my mouse up and I hit all those ridges, it kind of feels like, you know, you're going down a highway and hitting potholes. But anyway, so there's a couple ways you can actually deal with that. The first way, if you want to spend a little bit of money, you can actually get 2 of these duct tape sheets that you can get at your local craft stores. And since this is one giant sheet, it doesn't have any of those ridges, you can cut out 2 pieces, stick them right on top of each other, and then you'll have one giant sheet of tape with absolutely no ridges whatsoever, because it's one giant sheet. That'll completely eliminate your problem, because obviously, you know, no ridges, nothing to get caught on. The second method, that's, you know, if you want to spend, you know, like $4 or something like that, so it's going to be a little more expensive if you want to go that method. The method I would probably recommend is if you take HD clear tape or any kinds of packaging tape that I use to seal up my other designs. If you take this and you actually apply it onto your mouse pad, it gives it a kind of a glossy coating, and since the HD clear tape is a lot slicker than the actual duct tape, the mouse tends to roll right over top of it a lot easier, and you can barely tell that those ridges are even there. So basically what I'm going to do for this tutorial is I'm going to stick this on, and I'm just going to apply it all the way down so that I have the HD clear tape on there, and it won't get caught on those, the mouse won't get caught on those ridges at all. So that's what I'm going to do for this tutorial, use the HD clear tape. So this is what it looks like after I've gotten the HD clear packaging tape stuck on there. As you can see, it's nice and glossy because of all that packaging tape. Now I'll give you a few hints when you're applying the packaging tape to something that's this big. Basically what I do is I cut a whole bunch of strips that are actually longer than the creation itself. So I cut out a whole bunch of strips that are probably close to 10 inches because this is 8.5 here. And since I do that, I'm able to grab the packaging tape on the ends, because once your fingers touch the packaging tape, all the oils and the dust and the dirt gets transferred onto the actual piece of packaging tape without any trouble at all. It just takes that right off your fingers. So basically, since I'm holding onto these two pieces, the part that actually gets stuck down on the packaging, on the creation here, hasn't gotten any of those oils or anything like that on it. So basically, it doesn't transfer any of that dirt or grit onto the creation itself. So basically, once you apply the packaging tape, you want to make sure there's no dust, there's no dirt or anything stuck on your creation, because any little piece of dirt or any little piece of dust or grit has the potential to make air bubbles, because it's obviously not going to seal down specifically right on the tape. So you want to make sure your creation is completely clean, and hopefully you won't get any air bubbles. If you do, you can take your X-Acto knife, and sometimes you can just like poke the middle of the air bubble, and then you can kind of just squeeze all the air out of it, and hopefully that'll take away the air bubble as much as you can. You can also go on the back. Sometimes you can actually see the air bubbles. I know you can kind of see a little bit one there. So I can poke that and hopefully just squeeze some of the air out of it, and then that'll completely take it away. So that's how to apply the HD packaging tape. So basically, if you want to take just this here station and use it as a mouse pad, you could do that as well. And actually, you can use these pieces that stick out on the ends as your anchor. So you can stick these down your table or your computer desk or something like that, and this will prevent your mouse pad from moving around at all. But I'm actually going to teach you to make one more thing, and that will be an armrest, like a pillow here for your wrist, and then you can just maneuver your mouse around on the mouse pad in relative ease. So we're going to work on that pillow rest for your mouse pad right now. So before we get started here on making the pillow for our wrist on the mouse pad, you obviously need something to stuff the pillow with. So basically for that, I'm going to use this polyester fill, which you can pretty much get at any craft store. It's kind of like the stuff that they throw in the stuffed animals and stuff like that. You can get this at any craft store for fairly inexpensive, but if you don't happen to have that at home, you can also use like a whole bunch of tissues that I pull from a tissue box as well. As long as it's something fairly poofy, it'll definitely cushion when you set your wrist on top of it, because obviously we're going to sandwich this in between two sheets of duct tape. So for this tutorial, I'm going to use the polyfill, but like I said, if you don't have that, you can obviously use a whole bunch of tissues that you took from a tissue box. So let's get started here on making our wrist pillow. Basically what I did is I cut out a whole bunch of strips that are about 6 or 7 inches long, and basically they're not as long as the creation up here, just because even though that whole mouse pad is there, I don't find myself using that entire area to move my mouse around. That's probably true of most mouse pads because they're a lot bigger than they really need to be. So basically what I'm going to do is cut out 2 strips of tape that were about 5 or 6 inches long. It's really up to you. Overlap by a little bit here, probably about 3 inches. So the entire width here is 3 inches long. I'm going to take my 4th strip, stick it down right here, and then basically what I'm going to do is make an exact duplicate of this sheet here. So I'm going to cut out another 5 or 6 inch strips, depending on what you want, and then I'm going to make another sheet right here. So I'm going to do that step now. Alright, so now I've made my second sheet here for the wrist pillow. So now basically we're going to seal the polyfill inside it. So I got my 3rd strip here, which is pretty much the length of the bottom here. I know people are going to ask me what the length of it is, because I told you guys, you can make it any length you want to. It is 6.5 inches, if you desperately wanted to copy off the tutorial. But like I said before, you can use it any length you want to. Just because I gave you 6.5 inches doesn't mean that your wrist is smaller or bigger or whatever. So you can obviously make it any size you want to. But I know if I didn't say it, everyone's going to ask, because they just have to know. So basically I'm just going to seal the bottom up here, 1/2 of the strip on each side, just like that. And like I said before, the width of it is 3 inches, so I'm going to cut 2 pieces of tape, that are 3 inches long, and that'll seal up the sides. Kind of like we're making a miniature wallet here, but that's a different tutorial. I'm not making a wallet. So we are just applying it to the second part here, the second side. Now we're going to start to stuff the polyfill inside that pouch and then seal it off on the top with this strip over here. So let's do that next. Okay, so it's polyfill time. So let's throw all this cool stuff in there. try to seal it in as best we can because we want it to be a nice wrist pillow. We don't want it to be all, out of shape and everything. So I got it sealed in there, I think, pretty good. So basically, you want to stick it in there as best you can. Now basically, just like any other creation, like basically when you have the small little pieces of sticky side showing, they're going to get caught on different things. So and this is no exception. With the polyfill, it's definitely going to get caught on any of the sticky sides that you have showing. So if you don't want, little pieces of fuzz everywhere, you might help to just make sure you don't have any sticky sides. So we're going to put half of it on this side here. I kind of flattened it like an envelope here as best I can. Once you have it applied on one side, you can kind of flip it over and then kind of play with it a little bit better, just because you'll have the table as your backboard. You won't have to push down on it. So we're just going to seal it up like this as best we can. And you can kind of move the polyfill around in there if you need to, just in case it all shifted to one end. Kind of like a noisemaker now, but anyway. So now we're going to attach it to our mouse pad, and then we'll pretty much have a completed mouse pad. So let's do that now. Alright, so to attach the pillow, basically what I just did is I took one more 6.5 inch strip. I actually stuck it to the back of it there, so a little bit of the back of the strip is stuck on the back of the mouse pad. Then I'm basically just going to take the pillow, and you can kind of just arrange it wherever you want to, and then just basically just stick it down, just flatten it. And there we pretty much have our mouse pad. So like I said before, I left this part of the packaging tape on the side here because that'll help me anchor the mouse pad down. So if I move my my wrist around on the mouse pad with the mouse, it's not going to bounce around or anything like that. I'm going to slide away. So there we have our mouse pads. We got this cool little cushion for it, and we have basically the entire thing. So we have our cool mouse pad and the cushion. Now basically I didn't go into decorating or anything like that, but basically you can put all kinds of decoration on your mouse pad before you put the packaging tape down. Obviously you can still go all kinds of cool designs in there, and just like I said before, you don't want to make sure that any of the designs are too far raised or or messed up, because any little piece that's out of whack is going to probably create air bubbles. So you want to make sure that those designs are just as clean as the sheet that you originally stuck it down here on the mouse pad. So as you can see now, that rolls a lot easier over the packaging tape rather than the duct tape. So that's pretty much how to make a duct tape mouse pad. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Pretty neat little thing to make. You can obviously make them for presents, and if you have a computer, you can definitely replace your old mouse pad with a cool, neat duct tape mouse pad. So that's pretty much concludes this tutorial. Check out the channel, subscribe if you want to. Check out the Facebook fan page, a lot of good stuff happening over there, as well as the DuctTapeStuff blogger account. So take care. I'll see you guys next time. Hey there everybody, you guys found the secret ending to the tutorial. Or it probably won't be secret for very long, but anyway. Basically I posted a Facebook status a little while back on the fan page that I created my first duct tape prototype sculpture. And a lot of the people on there really wanted to see it, and they kind of convinced me to show it in this tutorial. So I kind of decided to include it in this little secret ending of the tutorial here. So here is my first prototype duct tape sculpture. Obviously, I went for kind of a hand and gauntlet kind of feel to it. I will be going into more detail about it in the upcoming collections video, so I won't be going in crazy detail about it today, because I'll save the official debut for the next collections volume. So that's my prototype duct tape sculpture. So hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial as well as this little secret ending. I'll catch you guys next time. Take care.